Hello and welcome back to another Football Pundits podcast episode. This video is sponsored by Jersey Republic. You can find their social media handles in the descriptions below. Do remember to like, share, and subscribe to our videos, and don't forget to click on the bell icon. So here we are, folks, for yet another episode for the Champions League preview. We have another spicy fixture which is coming up, which is between the Italians and the German giants. So it's the Lazio versus Bayern Munich game. So Rishabh, let's start with you. What do you think are your initial thoughts on this fixture? Do you think it's going to be a big game in terms of goals? At least I think Bayern will definitely be scoring a huge chunk of goals in this game.
Oh, firstly, I would just like to say it's not a spicy fiction. I don't think it's.
I
I
mean,
think
in
this
terms
is.
of goal, that's what I
I think
mentioned.
this is one of the most easiest pick to make for in terms of the entire Champions League round of 16 matches. I feel like Bayern is definitely the favorites to win. Definitely see them easily scoring 5 to 6 goals across the leg, across the tie. The only worry I see for Bayern is that they play that high line, and Lazio can definitely you can break that and definitely could score. But like they have only but the only player I see scoring in that is Ciro Immobile. Apart from that, there can be players who can trouble. Milinkovic-Savic is there, Casido is there, who can trouble. But yeah, I mean they're not having the best of the seasons in Syria as well. So don't really see them troubling Bayern. Bayern is definitely class apart right now in terms of all the teams across Europe. Like they are the favorites to win the Champions League this year.
They might be a class apart, but they definitely have shown some sort of inconsistencies in this season a little bit. I mean, they have been on the they have I mean, with the high line which you mentioned, they have definitely been on the receiving end as well. I mean, they've seen a lot of goals scored against them as well.
Yeah.
So, Anshuman, what do you think on that? Do you think Lazio will have an impactful game in this fixture?
Uh, I would like to side with Rishabh on this one as well. Like, I don't see Lazio taking too much out of Bayern. I think the dominance and that aggression that Bayern has in Champions League, I think it's unmatchable by any other team right now. And I think they have such a well-rounded offense that probably even if like Lazio has Ciro Immobile and uh, the strikers and the striking prowess to score goals because of the high line that Richard was talking about, but I think because uh, I don't think their defense is that stable enough to handle the well-grounded offense of Real Madrid. Sorry, Bayern Munich. and. And I believe that because I don't need to like even name the players of Bayern Munich who we believe are gonna do the impactful job. So I think Bayern Munich are gonna get out this fixture without any scratch.
I think I would agree with Rishabh's Bhaiya's comments when the draw came out. Like obviously that was an easy game. Like Bayern would brush aside Lazio, but I think they've gone 6-7 games unbeaten Lazio in Serie A. They have defeated Atalanta 3-1 recently, and so I think they've got options. Obviously, Ciro Immobile is a good option, and I think also Andres Pereira of United. He's also having some good wild cards in Coppa Italia and all. I think they defeated Spezia. I think I watched that game. And yeah, I mean, I think they are a very intense team again. And Inzaghi is a great manager, and he drills this team. And I think when you talk about the high line, it can also be a consequence of them not having a proper preseason, Bayern Munich, and it's always very dodgy when you always play like that because that's the only option, sort of. Because Hansi Flick has only narrowed it down to that style only. That's what's working. But I think they've got a lot of options, Bayern. When you talk about wingers, I think the previous game, the Club World Cup, they played Sane, Douglas Costa, and Gnabry, both, all of them in
All
the
of them, yeah.
4-2-3-1. So not even a number 10. So they've got again a lot of pacey wingers. So
Yeah,
definitely it's Bayern's, but I think Lazio has definitely spiced it up in their recent form. Surely.
I mean, yeah, when we talk about their recent form, Lazio has definitely won the last five fixtures in the Serie A fixtures. So, but when you come up against a team like Bayern, I don't think the form really counts a lot because
Mm.
they definitely outscore you all the way. So, Jonathan, do you think that will be
and
the
and and probably they're gonna go completely aggressive. So
yeah?
to handle that immediate pressure for the first 15-20 minutes, it's gonna be pretty difficult for Lazio.
The high pressing game is going to be right up there in Lazio's
Yeah,
game.
right up there. Yeah,
Hmm.
from the
I think
first whistle.
you guys are underestimating Lazio a lot. I think Lazio has worked very, very hard to be in the Champions League, and I don't think they're going to let it slip away by losing 6-0 or something like that. I think we'll see definitely Bayern be dominant, particularly in like possession and things like that. And they'll be pressing very high as they're apt to do. But I think Lazio's going to give them a fight. I think you give Ciro Immobile any amount of space in that box, in and around that 6-yard box, and he's going to take a shot. And I don't think there's they don't really have particularly fast center backs. Bayern Munich. Very good
Hmm.
like fullbacks. I don't see their center backs being particularly strong. I just don't see them being particularly strong in that area. I think you put pressure on them there in those central half spaces, and I think Lazio can find a few goals. I think it's gonna be a hard tie for Bayern, particularly in the Lazio Stadium in Rome.
Right.
Yeah, I mean the
Bayern has dropped a couple of points, like not right now, but the start of the season. So
Hmm.
Lazio can exploit. So the teams that were actually able to get a win over Bayern Munich exploited that high line, and they were able to get players past their defense, making sure that they beat their offside trap. So Lazio can do something similar and pull off an upset. But this has to be one of the best games that they play this season to beat Bayern Munich if they have any chance of qualifying for the next stage.
Yeah, I mean,
There shouldn't be any
let's not
mistakes.
forget. Let's not forget. I mean, Bayern is one of the few teams, one of I think the three teams who's actually undefeated in the group stages. So that
Hmm.
is obviously going to be there. I mean, so and Lazio definitely did not have one of the greatest of the group stages, but they did well as Jonathan
I mean,
mentioned. So,
they lost against Dortmund. Man. So we talked about Dortmund, like
I
who
think the
played.
return leg they won against Dortmund.
I don't think honestly. I don't think the group stages matter the whole lot. I think you always kind of know the two teams that are going to make it out, and once those two teams do make it out, you look at like Real Madrid when we like won the Champions League those like 3 times in a row. I think pretty much every season we always like came in second in the group, and it didn't really matter. We would always like lose really dumb games in the group stages
Right.
and make it to the final because when the knockouts it's a whole different thing. Knockouts, it's do or die. Anything can happen. A player gets injured in the 40th minute and you're done. You can't. There's no like.
actually, I just saw, and I would correct myself. Lazio is also one of the four teams who's actually undefeated in the group stages. So I was wrong on that part also. Yeah.
Okay.
Lazio is also one of the undefeated teams. They had 2 wins and 4 draws in the group stages. So definitely going to record one of the losses, I guess, over here.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, so what do you think will be the scoreline for this particular game? Since I think most of the people on this panel right now, apart from Jonathan, think it's going to be a clean sweep for Bayern. But let's see. Let's start with you, Jonathan. What do you
But
think?
before you run into predictions, I just like to mention Johnson's point. Like come to Johnson's point. He was saying something like you were saying about like how we're underestimating Lazio, but and you were talking about like how Real like overturned all these deficits every time like when they were playing those three Champions League. Don't you
Yeah.
feel like Bayern, like even Bayern has that kind of mentality as like they have the same set of players, they have the same manager who won them the Champions League last year. Lewandowski is in the form of his like career at this point of time. Don't you think like they have more impactful players to actually demolish Lazio rather than actually just
Not
rather than actually giving them a fight?
do think they're gonna beat Lazio. I think it's gonna be tight, tighter than you might expect. I think they have the capacity to win 4-0 if they had a perfect game. They're that type of team who can do that. And yes, they have impact players. But I'm thinking long term. I think a lot of our perception of Bayern Munich comes from the fact that they've had everything has kind of worked in their favor, especially last season. They had the one-legged affair really like helped them a lot. I think
Hmm.
also they never really had a really big challenge in any of the ties. Some people thought Barcelona was going to be that, but we all saw what happened with them. They haven't really had anyone to really push them, someone with the same level of experience and quality in that squad to push them. We just haven't seen it, and they're definitely not getting challenged in the Bundesliga. They never are. So I don't think it's really hard. We always think of Bayern as this better team than they actually are, and then they get to the point where they have to face a team that is actually good, that's actually proven, and then they just can't do it. I think we need to. I think people are way too high on Bayern Munich right now. Like when
I
they
feel like so what you're saying about I kind of agree with you because in the past seasons when Pep was managing them, so they used to wrap up their Bundesliga title by around March, and they were like, oh, what do we do actually for 2 months? They just used to play for fun, right, on the pitch. So that kind of, I feel like that kind of impacted their performances on the biggest stages of the Champions League. But this year, I feel like there has been a lot more competition in the Bundesliga. It's not been, yeah, Bayern is still running away with it, but there's still been a lot more tough competition in Bundesliga to not say that okay, Bayern has just won the title and they don't have to
You
work
know
it
what? Like if
harder to win.
Bayern loses like 1 or 2 games in Bundesliga, right?
Sorry, what?
If Bayern loses 1 or 2 games in Bundesliga, right? It the mistakes that they did, they learn from it not to improve their league position. They do it to improve their Champions League position because whenever they lose, I think entire global stage of football watches what did they do wrong because they have that kind of stature and because it has always been an history of them that they are dominant force in the Bundesliga. So no matter even if they're like getting away with the title with 7 points gap that they have right now, still even if they lose one match, I think is a that is a point where you can find out what did they do wrong and what is that one single crack. It's like a mansion, right? A brilliant mansion, but the foundations are cracked. So people try to find basically what people are talking about Liverpool right now. Like they are a huge team, but now we are finding the cracks within the team. So probably an upset might happen because of that, because of a certain miscommunication behind the back line. But what I'm saying is that even if Bayern struggle to get out of this, it's gonna be their own fault. Like it's gonna be their own mistakes that's gonna cost Lazio or gonna give Lazio a goal. But I don't see that happening because there's a bunch of young players, brilliant players right now who are being challenged globally to perform, and they have been doing it. Joshua Kimmich suddenly became one of the best midfielders we have seen. We all know about Serge Gnabry. We all know about Lewandowski, right? So and now they have the fullbacks are like a completely different team from Bayern Munich that we had in like 5 years ago. And as I've been talking about, the football has completely changed from being a technical, more stable player to a more pacey winger. Or they need pace right now. The football has become like that. It's more running. It's not to sit around, make chances. It's more about cutting through the lanes and getting into that box. And I believe because of the pacey and the strength of the squad, I think they're just gonna run ragged around Lazio. Even if Lazio gets a chance, I think the big man behind the
Neuer.
uh, yeah,
Right.
The sticks, yeah.
Neuer.
Yeah.
I think
Yes.
I'm just thinking about the last time Bayern actually played a team which defended properly. Because in Bundesliga teams are very like they're intense. They look for like okay, Alaba is forward, so I'll exploit that. So they put their wingers a bit high. So I think Lazio will definitely have a proper excuse that we're Italian, we're going to be completely defensive. So if you're
Hmm.
going to throw your people off, and I think that could be something which Bayern didn't face a lot. I think like if you talk about even like Jonathan said, Barcelona when they faced Barcelona were looking to build up. They were trying to actually hurt Bayern in some phase, and I think that backfired them. And even in PSG, everything I think Lazio is a completely different team which Bayern is going to face after a long time. So that could be also very interesting how Lazio maybe exploits that. Obviously, high line, but
Yeah,
also I
I
think the
think
possession of right.
there's one guy in Arsene Wenger. I think he knows how to beat Bayern in their own ground. I think no
Right,
matter
right.
what form they have, no matter where they are,
That is
sometimes Wenger just comes in with the Arsenal team, does it tika taka, and probably just Bayern does not know what hit them. I think he has that kind of secret ingredient to defeat Bayern. But other than that, I don't see Bayern getting out of this shit.
I mean, you can't outplay Bayern in terms of the football. I think there's no team.
Exactly.
I think
Yeah.
Maybe Man City right now. But I mean, Lazio will definitely do what they do best. I think yeah. I mean, like I think Bhaiya talked about Milinkovic-Savic and all. So these players will be definitely important number eights. And I think yeah, they play only two midfielder, Goretzka and Kimmich. So maybe outnumbering them in field, they play midfield 3-5-3-2 sort of. So it could be a very different game for Bayern, definitely.
yeah.
But
So
also Bayern has back in the head to defend the title. I think that is an
Right.
they have been achieving so much that these are new achievement that they're finding out. We need to defend like for the 5 years now. This is our new accomplishment that we need to clear.
But
So
we've also seen. I mean, there's only been one team that has been able to defend the title.
right, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
It's so
You had to
hard.
bring that up.
Yeah, I mean, I have every time I'm going to bring it up because it's important to note history was made. But yeah, I mean, if you look at all the other teams, defending a Champions League is so hard because there's so many factors. There's the luck factor,
Right.
like it depends on who you get drawn against. You know, you can have injuries. You know, and or something crazy like Corona will happen last season, like which no one could ever have predicted, and it changes the whole the whole structure of the competition. So I don't know. I don't see them retaining the title at all. But they'll definitely beat Lazio. I guess we're all in agreement on that.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So yeah, let's get your scoreline predictions on this one, guys. What do you think will be the scoreline on this one?
I think I'll definitely see
My
Lazio scoring a goal. I mean, in terms of Bayern, the way they maintain their high line, I think Lazio will score a goal. When you have, I think Ciro Immobile scored 14 goals in Serie. I think second top scorer. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's going to be a good difference. I would say a 4-2 to Bayern all the aggregates.
Okay. Jonathan, what do you think on this one?
I'm going 5-3 on aggregate.
Okay. Anyone else wants to pitch in on?
I'm going 4-1 on aggregate.
I'm going for
I'm
a
going Lazio 2-0.
I'm going for a 6-1 or 6-2 Bayern victory.
I'm going Lazio 2-0 on aggregate. One home, one away goal.
Nice.
Okay. So okay, there
So
you
you
have.
so you are going to be the odd one out in each of the predictions.
Yeah.
Like the one who's
He has already decided that.
Yeah, I have already decided that. Plus, somebody needs to stand up for the little guy.
Yeah, okay,
Right.
let's do that. I mean, I think it's going to be a 5-1 for Bayern. Definitely would like to see another rampant performance from them, like they had last year against Barcelona. But I think that was in quarterfinals. So let's see. I mean, maybe we are still one round away from that kind of fixture. So let's see what happens. So there you have it, folks. Thank you for joining us and listening to us again. Do remember to like, share, and subscribe to our videos, and do not forget to click on the bell icon and follow us on the social media handles. Thanks again to Jonathan and Yash for joining us on this yet another preview of the podcast. And thanks, guys.
Yeah.